What's going on, YouTube? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week. As always, give me the thumbs up if you can hear me, if we're live and all right. We're going to talk about the Mueller Circus, the hearing today, and then we're also going to talk about other foreign influence, and we're going to have some fun. I got 3 fun things for the beginning, so let me launch. I'm doing the Facebook, YouTube thing. This has actually been pretty fun. Let's start it up. What's going on, Facebook? I got YouTube there. We're doing the double thing. It's kind of fun. We're going to talk about the Mueller hearing today. Just some fun stuff about that. We're also going to talk about other foreign influence that the mass media never talks about, and both sides of politics rarely talk about, although, you know, they weigh in on it here or there. And we're also going to have fun. But for first, as always, is that a thing for first? We're going to do some shout outs. So let's see who's here. Let's see who's on Facebook. I'm going to post something on here. It's not going to pin, but it's all good. Who we got? We got Aaron. Good audio. Thank you. We got Justin St. John. Appreciate you. Lisa Cavallo. Appreciate you. We got Pat Cole. Tommy Gunn. We got Barry. We got Steven from Australia. Oi, oi, oi. If that's not offensive. I don't know anymore. Can't be funny. Caroline. Hold on. I got a piece of hair on my screen. It's a little distracting. We got Lola from Michigan. Salem, Oregon in the house. Someone said looking clean. Yeah, I shaved my I shaved. It was getting a little scratchy at night, so I had to make a play on them. Just so you guys know, I didn't do it because a lady told me to shave my beard the other day. That's not why I shaved it. I did it because it was itching, and it just got annoying. It was a late night decision. It was like 12:30. I was like, this thing's got to go. Jason from Oregon. I don't give in to peer pressure, guys. That's not why I shaved my beard. I'm just letting the haters and losers know. Jimmy Schultz, what's going on? We got Sean White. We got James from Brooklyn. We got Joe, Jill, Jesse, Beth, Ruth. Thank you. We got Patrick from Fishers, Indiana. Appreciate you. We got Rose from Georgia. Beautiful day. That's it. Well, every day is a beautiful day, except for some days suck. But you know. We got Sam in the house. We got Aaron. We're already at 1,000 on Facebook. We're at 183 on here. We'll do a few more shout outs and we'll start it up. Debbie, thank you so much. We got Adam from Delaware. We got Ali, Ali from Jacksonville. We got Vegas in the house, Kalamazoo. Emily, I did shave, not because of peer pressure though. I did it because I wanted to. I'm like a kid. You're like, don't touch that. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep growing it out. It's like this long. And you're like, no, I'm going to shave it. I'm like, no. I shave it when I want to shave it. It's funny. We'll say this before we start. People always say to me, like, you shaved it. You have a beard. You don't have a beard. Like, I'm just going through phases. You know, I don't have, like, a look that I need. So it's like I'll shave it. Sometimes I'll have the beard. Sometimes people care more than I do. They're like, dude, you should. It's like, this is just life. You know, it grows. You cut it. It gets gray sometimes. Like, that's just how it goes. All right. Let's start with 3 funny things before we talk about the Mueller report. First thing I want to talk about that I think is pretty funny is Michael Moore tweeted this out. This is Michael Moore, folks. The very, very, you know, in shape, thin, really great guy, Michael Moore. All jokes aside, a frail old man unable to remember things, stumbling, refusing to answer basic questions. I said it in 2017, and Mueller confirmed it today. All you pundits and moderates and lame Dems who told the public to put their faith in esteemed Robert Mueller. So just STFU, which means shut the F up from now on. That's not me. That's not Trump. That's Michael Moore, guys. Sounds like hate speech to me, but apparently Michael Moore is for today the voice of reason on the left wing. He says that was he called Mueller a frail old man, unable to remember things, refusing to answer basic questions. Once again, not me. I'm not trying to get kicked off Facebook. Not trying to get kicked off YouTube. This is not me. This is the radicalization of you know, big boy Michael Moore. I'm just reading. I'm just reporting on it. I just thought that was funny. Second funny thing before we start is I tweeted this on Twitter. If you guys don't know, Boris Johnson is the new Prime Minister of England or Great Britain, whatever. I don't really pay attention to you guys. Sorry. No. But I tweeted, Boris Johnson proves you should never be mean to the kid in school with the weird haircut. He might grow up one day to be Prime Minister. I had the weird haircut too, so I feel empowered today. Guys, you might see somebody with the bowl haircut like I used to have and Boris Johnson has. You might laugh at them and be like, look at that loser. He's never going to get girls. He's never going to fit in. He's just going to grow up with the weird bowl haircut, and Boris Johnson showed everybody today, listen, I rock it. I make it look good. I'm prime minister. I bet you wish you didn't, not want to sit with me at the lunch table. So when you see someone with a weird haircut, don't judge. They might be your leader one day. And the third thing I wanted to talk about, this isn't really funny, but before I was tweeting, I said, which country do you think influences U.S. politics the most? Maybe I'll share the best answers later. And someone said something interesting I want to read. She said, that's a tough one. Most places in the world are influenced by American culture, though. Everywhere you travel, you see American influence, which is true. And then she said, I just had KFC in Moscow, and I swear it tasted better than the KFC in North Carolina. Uh-oh, she's in Moscow, might be a Russian bot. No, but all jokes aside, I've heard that with people who travel abroad a lot that, McDonald's is like classy culture in a lot of other countries, and the food quality of our country, of our food is better in other countries. And that's a question we have to ask ourselves outside of politics is, why is American fast food the worst quality in America? And then you go over to Japan, England, and Russia, and American fast food is better in other countries. That's a serious question we have to ask ourselves, because I definitely think it says a lot about us. We poison our own people with bad food. We poison our own people with drugs. We have a major pill crisis in our country. So, I do think we're a great country. But why is our food quality the worst here when it's our own inventions? Just something to think about. I think we have a long ways to go with not mistreating our own people in the food and medicine industry. But all that aside, we're here to talk about Mueller today. It was pretty much a train wreck and a clown show. The dude, I didn't realize how old he was. I gotta research when he got into office as FBI director. I think it was like 7 days or 2 weeks before 9/11. Very suspicious. But besides that timing, it's just like the dude was never a hero. Even a lot of progressive Democrats like Michael Moore and these other the Jimmy Dores and stuff. I got to give credit where it's due. They actually knew about this stuff, how phony it was, and how it was an excuse for establishment, neoliberal Democrats, as they call them. They lost the election. They already said they had an insurance policy to make up all these excuses. And all you need to really know about it, I mean, Mueller didn't know anything. He didn't know fusion GPS. He said there was no collusion. He said there's no obstruction. But basically what Mueller is like a dangling carrot for people who watch CNN and MSNBC and believe these people, which is awful. Even if you're a Democrat and you hate Trump, you got to tune out of this brainwashing. It's literally nutty. It's like they just want to be like, we couldn't charge him. Our whole system revolves around innocent until proven guilty. They had a whole year, millions of dollars, all these resources, all this oversight that we've never seen in our lives. They couldn't find anything, but they still want to somehow tell you, even though he's innocent until proven guilty, we can't find anything. Just dangle the Mueller carrot. But it's like the dude was so senile, he didn't really do a good job dangling them. They're like, Robert, wake up! You got to dangle the carrot. Yeah, maybe one day we'll find them. It's like that's not how the American system works, but it does serve good for people who believe that stuff. And I just want to talk about other foreign influence real quick, because there's a lot of countries that influence the United States. First of all, it's true. The United States influences the entire world. You see our restaurants, our movies, our music, our culture everywhere. So we are the biggest purveyors of foreign influence in media. We're the biggest purveyors of foreign influence and culture, all that stuff. But also, there's a lot of countries who influence our country way, way, way more than Russia. And I'm going to go down the list of them. I asked people, and I made a list of all the things people said. And I'll tell you what I know about these countries and how they influence them. China, we'll start with China. That seems to be the politically correct one that you're allowed to talk about. Then we'll get into the other ones. China has hacked our FDIC. This is not Alex Jones reporting. This is not a right-wing Breitbart news. This is CNN reported this. This is mainstream, approved news for the masses that China hacked the FDIC. U.S. officials covered it up, report says. That's what CNN says. They also hacked a Navy contractor of ours and, stole a bunch of information. So when it comes to hacking, China hacks much more than Russia. And that's mainstream news. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is not my thoughts. This is CNN, Washington Post, mainstream news. When it comes to media influence, China has 20 to 30 times, 40 times the power that Russia has in our media. When it comes to movie, film, I can't even get into. I don't have the list here in front of me, but the amount of film studios and film influence that China has. It's open knowledge. It's in Business Insider. It's in Forbes. They basically will change movie scripts if it makes China look bad. They'll be like, make China the good guy, and then everyone goes to see the movie, and they're like, oh, China's so like it's the amount of influence they have is bizarre. And also they ran a full page ad I reported a year ago. I believe it was in Des Moines, however you say that. Sorry, I don't pronounce it right. They ran a full page ad to basically counter Trump's trade to favor China in the trade, a full page ad. And it's all over so it's like China's allowed to openly advertise anywhere. They're allowed to take control of a lot of mass media, and that's totally fine. There's no foreign collusion. But the big scoop, according to people who watch CNN, is, oh my God, Russia played Pokemon Go. Can you believe that Russia played Pokemon Go and changed the names of the characters to Black Lives Matter? This is a real CNN article. They think that Russia playing Pokemon Go is a bigger influence than China buying up most of Hollywood and China's influence literally openly in mass media. Like, here you go, I'm buying this ad based on the Chinese government. That's totally fine. But shut down Sputnik and RT because they're so bad. That's one of 50 million ways that China's influencing. The Confucius schools on college campuses, you can't really get away from how many ways China's influencing the United States. I would say probably 100 to 300 times more than any other country. Now I'm going to get to the second country, which is taboo. Apparently in Free Speech America, you're not allowed to say this on the right wing. Everyone gets so triggered. But Israel, I mean, the amount of influence that Israel has in United States politics is overwhelmingly greater than anything that Russia does at all. It's hard to really even put a finger on how much that they do influence because you're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to say that foreign, there's foreign influence, and how dare you say that AIPAC and foreign lobbyist groups are influencing politics. They openly brag that they flew 1/3 of Congress out to Israel. And it's fine. All I'm asking for is some consistency. If you want to say they're our greatest allies, you could say that. That's fine. I'm not here to debate that today, but it's getting to the point in my personal perspective. I love Israelis. I think Israel has the right to exist personally, but we're like joined at the hip now. We're like EU, UN style, where it's like everything we can do, you can do. We're the same people. PragerU says, being pro-America is being pro-Israel. It's like, no, it's not. Just like being pro-Israel doesn't mean pro-America. Like you could love America, but it's like they try to make us join at the hip. They flew a bunch of police officers. It's like Los Angeles police officers fly out to Israel to train. I'm just saying, if that was Russia or that was China, you'd be like, why are they doing that? But they did do that as well. I think with Russia, they did train a bunch of military people with Russians too, which is equally sketchy. It's very, very sketchy. And, it's basically so much influence there that if you even mention it, they'll call you anti-Semitic. And the last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll move on to other influences, is the ADL. The ADL is one of the biggest manipulators in mass media, politics, internet. This is a fact. This is something that Jewish conservatives say. This is something that mainstream conservatives say. They know how much the ADL pressures free speech and is anti-free speech. That's mainstream news. The ADL, if you look at their Wikipedia, they're founded by B'nai B'rith, which is the oldest Jewish international organization. They've been around since like the 1900s, and they're operating as an international Jewish organization that openly says our purpose is to, speak out for Israel. Our purpose is to protect the Jewish people. But if you look at what they're actually doing, they're shutting down Jewish people who disagree with them. They're shutting down everybody. They openly brag. They openly brag about rigging YouTube algorithms. The Greenblatt, or whatever his name is, the head of the ADL, says, listen, we talk to YouTube and they rig the search algorithms for us, but it's not enough. We need to push it further because we need to combat anti-Semitism. All I'm saying personally is I live in America. I'm an American citizen. I believe very strongly in the First Amendment. If there's a Christian organization that is censoring speech and pretending to be a pseudo-Christian organization, I'm going to call it out. If there's a Muslim organization, right-wingers would scream Sharia law, Sharia law, Sharia. Oh my goodness, they're founded as an international Muslim organization, and they're censoring speech all over the place. But for some reason, when it's a Jewish, Israeli organization openly and admittedly rigging, they're a huge reason why the Google search algorithms are being rigged. They think hate speech includes men's rights. They think the word censorship, I could show you the video, it's ridiculous. They think the word censorship is a hate speech term. They're like, whoa, people are talking about censorship, it must be a Nazi. It's insane what they do. And all I'm asking is for conservatives, you know, if you're pro-Israel, that's awesome. If you're in Israel, that's awesome. If you're Jewish, that's great. There's no hate. I say this stuff and people say, oh, you hate, you're blaming that. No, it's just if it was a Muslim organization, if it was a Christian organization protecting Christian countries and they were censoring free speech, that's, I think, our duty to be like, listen, what's going on over there? But the right wing will never, for some reason, talk about that stuff. And if you say it, everyone hates you and they think you're crazy and a bigot. So I'm just going to point it out. You know, you could say we're the best allies. You could say it's awesome, but I don't let Christian organizations censor me. I don't let Jewish organizations censor me. I don't let Muslim organizations censor me. I don't let American organizations censor me. I don't let Israel First organizations censor me. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I believe in free speech, and the ADL, which was founded, you know, in the early 1900s, is one of the biggest riggers of the internet, and they are openly bragging about it, telling you what their mission is and telling you they want to go further and further and further and further, something that people should consider. But I know that's not very popular on the right wing. Some people, I asked people on Twitter what foreign country they think rigs the most. China and Israel got the first 2 votes. Third one was interesting. People said Mexico. And I think that's a very valid point to be talked about there, because Mexico, you know, I love Mexico. I know I have to say this, the PC, look, I love of course, I love everyone. But when it comes to Mexico, they have millions of people illegally, and from South America as well, coming here. And now you have Bill de Blasio and, you know, Gavin Newsom trying to give them free healthcare, you know, give them driver's license, let them vote, says Stacey Abrams, you know, let them vote here. They're pushing towards letting illegal immigrants vote in elections if they aren't already. So when you have millions of people literally voting in elections, and then you have the Mueller report crying about Pokemon Go and advertisements on Facebook, which is absolutely bizarre. I'll try to read the super chats at the end, guys. It's like, what's bigger? Like a Pokemon Go ad, $1 million worth of advertisements that doesn't even do that much, or the fact that you have millions of people that aren't even citizens of the country allowed to vote in the country. So Mexico, without saying, obviously has a lot of influence, and other South American and Central American countries via illegal immigration. Qatar is another country that I would say influences the United States media much, much more than Russia does. Qatar is, you know, you could watch, I think Cernovich has a documentary called Blood Money. I haven't watched the full thing yet, but he explains all of their influence. Al Jazeera is one, that's a newspaper that they run that has, you know, Qatar agenda. Like, that's what they are. They're state funded by Qatar. England has BBC. Some people said the media acts as a separate entity that hates the United States. I would say that seems like it's pretty true. But overall, it's like you measure, I'll give you an example. You measure the amount of influence that China has in the media, that, you know, Israel and the ADL has in the media, whatever you want to call the ADL, and that Qatar has in the media. It's like 10,000 times as much as Russia. Russia, even with their advertisements, they reached as many people as I do in like 2 weeks. Like, they spent $1 million to reach a piss poor amount of people, to like Bill O'Reilly supporters, like, Jesus, the devil, vote for Trump. It's like, whoa, you really swung the election there. Point I'm getting at is the Mueller report is a joke. We could laugh about what a circus it is, but I figured I'd take the time to point out other influences in foreign media and ask yourself, you know, do the Democrats care about foreign influence in media? Absolutely not, or else they'd call out all of the countries that I mentioned, which they don't. Do Republicans care about foreign influence in media? I would say sometimes when it goes in their favor and their agenda, but when it deals with something that they don't want to talk about, all of a sudden they're anti-free speech when it's convenient. It's like, well, let's shut that down and make laws that are one-sided and lopsided. I had a funny conversation that I can't even really have publicly, or else I'd be framed as a horrible person. But I was talking to my Jewish buddy who's 100% Jewish, and we're both totally non-PC. We make jokes. We have fun. We're not sensitive. I always say to myself, I don't care about opinions. Like, people think people's opinions of me or opinions of people matter. Opinions don't matter. The truth matters. Why is Trump effective? Because he leads with truth. If he gives up the truth, Trump is no longer effective. That's what's been driving him. He's more authentic. So opinions don't matter at all. And neither, honestly, do like jokes. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, if people say something hateful, there's two options. Either it's true and we should talk about it, or it's not true and it doesn't matter. The fact that people get so wound up in emotions and opinions and oh my God, that's racist, that's horrible. It's like, it's so annoying, and it's so counterproductive. I would even go as far to say some of the craziest people that the media says, oh my God, they're extremists to the left, they're extremists to the right. You could, besides the violent ones, those guys are losers. You could put them in the same room together and they'd probably have a better conversation than the mass media and other people. It's like the mass media just screams, la, 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 la. It's like, just let's talk out our problems. Let's not get so emotional about things. Because also, I want to talk about, imagine if you're a musician and you have awful music. Imagine if your music sucks and like nobody likes it. Like the approval rating of your music is like 3%. Like you're very awful, but you're pushed by mass media and they keep pushing you, and then people start to strongly dislike you. And I'm not a hater, but the word hate basically means strongly dislike. And then instead of learning why people don't like you, you start saying, whoa, that's hate speech to talk bad about me. You're not allowed to do it. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to talk about this. You can't talk about that race. You can't talk about that gender. You can't talk about me. You can't talk about my organization. You can't talk about my media. You can't talk about my... You're not solving the problem. You're censoring people who most likely don't like you based on what you're doing, which is most of the time unpopular. It's like, do we have to censor the whole world to stop extremism? Or do we have to face the problems in our race? Do we have to face the problems in our religion? Do we have to face the problems in our gender? To me, I don't like the identity politics in the left or the right wing. I think it's very, very, very counterproductive. It's like, whoa, don't say that. You're a racist. You're a sexist. You're anti-Semitic. It's like, this is just going to make people dislike you more. I've been telling the right wing this a lot, and they don't listen to me because I have a lot of right-wing friends who disagree with me, which is awesome. I love to have a conversation, but you're starting to see that this like central opinion where you can't have a conversation about Israel or Judaism or Israeli influence in mass media, it's growing. The disdain is growing, and it's like Charlie Kirk posts a picture with Prager with a yarmulke on Charlie's head, and Charlie's one of the most popular people on the right wing. He runs one of the most famous organizations. They have Trump talking, they have Dan Crenshaw, they have Rand Paul. And all of his comments are literally turning against him. His own supporters are not buying it anymore, where it's like, it's not becoming the popular opinion anymore. It's not because you can't be pro-Israel. It's not because you can't love Jews and stand up for Judaism. It's not because you can't be Jewish. That's awesome. I support everybody. But if you don't want to face the censorship, if you don't want to face the control and you think it's a conspiracy theory or anti-Semitic or hateful, it's only going to build and build and build and build. And it's the same with any race, religion, or gender. It's like, if you want to talk about the problems in Islam and it's labeled as Islamophobic, does that solve the problems in Islam? No. Does that stop people from disliking Islam? No, it makes people hate them more. You get what I'm saying? And that's just grows and grows and grows, but you can't talk about it. You can't talk about your differences. Like I'm sympathetic to every race, religion, and gender, but it's clear if you read if you read the Bible and you read the Quran, it's a different vibe. Like you go to first of all, I wouldn't even say that America is really a Christian country anymore. I would say it's so far liberalized. It's a shell of Christianity. Has no, look at the media, look at the education system. All elements of Christianity have been removed out of it. It's a joke to even say that U.S. is pushing Christian values anymore. Christians are demonized in their own country. But it's like, it's okay to have a different mindset. It's like, if you want to do this, live here. If you want to do, I'm not calling for segregation, but an Islamic country shouldn't have to play along with the same rules as a Christian country. Europe, we shouldn't have to be like Europe. We shouldn't have to be like Iran. We're clearly very different. We let women wear bikinis. They don't like that. They want women covered up. I respect that. I actually have respect for Islam. I'm not a hater, but the idea that we're just supposed to just like mesh together and then you're not allowed to talk about your differences. Like, here, we're gonna have 1 million people come who think totally different, but that's fine to me. But at least let me talk about it. Let me have a conversation. Don't have religious organizations censoring me, and then if I talk about it, you call me a hater or call me anti-Semitic or Islamophobic. It's like, no, I could talk about the Catholic Church if I want. I think there's pedophiles in the Catholic Church. Not all, but some. I think that's clearly a problem in a sector of the Catholic Church. That doesn't make me anti-Catholic or anti-Christian. That makes me an American able to call out the bad and people, evil people hiding behind religion, which happens in every race, religion, and gender. But I find it very strange that certain people, the left wing, won't let you say that about Islam. The right wing won't let you say that about Judaism. You know, it's like everybody seems okay to call out Christians. But you look at the laws on the books being passed, they're all being passed in a form that's anti-white and anti-Christian, and anti-conservative. And if you look at the organizations pushing that the most, they happen to be an organization that's a certain religion that hates white people. I'm just going to say, it's like you look at their chart. This is not my opinion. This is in their own videos. They're like, this is what we're stopping. White speech is like the big circle that they need to stop. Then it's like men's rights is like what they need to censor. Men's rights is not even a real thing. That's a joke that the internet made up. No man cared. Oh, I'm losing my rights as a man. That's not even a thing. We just joke around because women are freaking out and fourth wave feminism is a total joke. So we make jokes and we're like, hey, men's rights. Like, I want the right to pee in the bathroom. Like, no man really cares about men's rights. There's like 20 people in Milo Yiannopoulos that march in the streets sometime. It's not really a big thing, but that's what the ADL does. They're trying to censor white men, censorship, this, that, the other. It's like their bubble of what they're trying to censor is so big. It's a problem. They are a big purveyor of it. And I'm tired of people being like, you can't talk about that, or that's not. I talk to my Jewish friends about it and they think it's hilarious. Like that, you know, it's like those are the people. I had a tweet. I'm going to read it real quick. Actually, I can't find it. I'll just try to recreate it. I said, can we make a new country filled with every race and every religion of people that aren't so dang emotional and so sensitive about stuff? Let's call it America. And there could be free speech there. Like isn't that what America used to be? When I used to ride the bus to school when we were younger, we'd make jokes about everyone. We had messed up jokes about Polish people. I'm Polish. I never cared. People made jokes about Jewish people. My Jewish friends never cared. We made jokes about Italians and every race, and it was like super messed up a little bit, but at the end of the day, no one cared, and no one said it in a way of like hate. No one actually hated that race. It was just like a joke, like a Chappelle show. When Chappelle show makes fun of white people, does he hate white people? Maybe, but at the end of the day, who cares? Like, it's funny, you know? People used to say Polish people are stupid. You know, that was a big joke. They said, where's the joke that people used to tell on the bus was like, where's the Polish, why do Polish submarines have a glass floor at the bottom? And I was like, why? And they were like, to look at the old Polish army or something, like saying the Polish army was stupid that their submarines sunk. I never once thought to be offended by that. I wasn't like, well, I'm Polish and that hurts my feelings. That would be projection. Like, that would be me saying, I'm dumb. Now I'm mad that you called me dumb, so I'm going to cry about it. I knew, and it turns out that it seems like Poland seems to be one of the smarter countries in Europe, so the joke ended up not even being right. But it's like, either it's true and you got to laugh about it, or it's not true and you got to laugh about it or shrug it off. I draw the line of free speech at genocidal calls. I draw the line at death threats. That, to me, that's not free speech. Death threats and genocidal calls is bad. But if you exaggerate about that, you actually make people hate you more. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're women and gay, I'll give you an example, another one, because this goes all ways. When I talk about certain things, people are like, don't. When it came to the LGBT agenda, I never cared about the LGBT agenda. It was like, okay, gay people should get married. Yeah, for sure. That's fine. I don't care. You know, I was 19 years old. Like, let them get married, whatever. Like, now they could pay taxes like everyone else. And then they started being annoying. Not everybody, but the mainstream Democratic Party LGBT agenda. I'm sorry, they're annoying. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're lesbian. I don't care if you think you're an octopus with 15 tentacles and, you know, you're every gender. That's great. It doesn't matter. But if you're going to be annoying, you're going to start making me not like you as much. Like, 10 years ago, am I cool with the LGBT agenda? Absolutely. Now, am I cool with the LGBT agenda? Absolutely not. I think it's a total dupe. I think it's a political dupe. I think it's a societal dupe. I think they're using gay people to push an agenda. Now I don't like it anymore. Is it because of hate speech extremists on YouTube who told me to feel that way? No, it's because you guys suck. That's why I don't like you anymore. Not all, but the mainstream agenda. That's why I don't like the LGBT agenda. It has nothing to do with it. Has to do with the mainstream movement being annoying. Now I make gay jokes again. For a while, I wouldn't make gay jokes. I was like, oh my goodness, it's so hurtful. I'm so sorry. Now I think it's funny to make gay jokes again. Why? Because you guys are annoying. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. Like that's how it works with everything. So it's like if you can't call out a certain country or a certain religion, I understand that a lot of people think in their head, we are going to protect Jewish people with the ADL. We're going to protect Jewish people with the Ben Shapiro form of like, you know, free speech, you know, don't be a snowflake unless you talk about Israel or Judaism, then it's anti-Semitic and I can't take it anymore. That doesn't create millions of people who love Jewish people. That creates a lot of people who start to be like my buddy Andrew Mayer, who's Jewish. He always says Ben Shapiro makes people hate Jews. I'm not saying that's not true. A lot of people love Ben Shapiro, a lot of people, but like you get that, that's a Jewish person saying that. You know, because he understands when you hide behind that shield, it's not a good look. It's the same with like, if I say I don't agree with Ron DeSantis's bill in Florida that he signed on foreign soil, the first one in Florida's history, people will say, what are you, anti-Semitic? What do you hate Jews? No, not at all. But if you read the article, you find out that some of the biggest opposers of that bill were Jewish rabbis and Jewish lawyers. Those are the Jews I want to sit down with and be like, yo, those are free speech Jews. That's what I'm about. Like, that's cool. Same with Muslims. Like, who are the Muslims who will call out Muslim extremism? Who are the Muslims that don't want to, you know, implement anti-American free speech stuff in America? Those are my Muslim allies. You know, who are Christians that are able to call it out? Those are my allies. I've never cared about race. I've never cared about religion. I've never cared about gender. I've never cared about gay or straight. But now I'm starting to get annoyed and also just be like, you know what? Like, I'm starting to push back against the political correctness because someone needs to do that. Like, I listen to everybody. I don't agree with everyone, but there's value in certain places. And from my perspective, the most valuable people are getting X'd out on YouTube. The most valuable people are getting deleted off Facebook because less valuable people feel more valuable when they shut down the conversation with false labels and the word racist and anti-Semitic and xenophobic and Islamophobic. I get where you're coming from. I get you want to protect certain religions and races and genders and sexualities. I get it. But I'm starting to think that they're all dumb words and we should just have a conversation. Like if you say, I hate all white people, I want to get to the root of it. Why do you hate white people? Okay, who do you hate? What's wrong? Maybe I'll agree with you. I'll be like, you know what? Those are bad white people. And then I need to show them, you know, not all white people are like that. You know, like look at these white people. Look at those. Like, don't blame everybody, you know? But I never, like, I don't know. I legit just don't understand people who get that mad. Like people always say to me, don't you, Louis Farrakhan thinks that all white people were created in a lab. Doesn't that make you mad? I'm like, no, that's hilarious. Don't you? I think that's funny. Like that he thinks white people are created in a lab. To me, that's classic comedy. Like that's a pretty funny perspective. I don't even feel remotely offended by that. If he said, let's kill all white people and called for acts of violence, I'd be like, whoa, Farrakhan, relax. And maybe he's done that one time. I wouldn't put it past him. But overall, it's like, can we move the threshold of what we're really offended? We're offended by people saying that foreign lobbyists influence politicians. We're offended by saying that there's certain people in Europe that seem to be raping people and exploding things at a higher rate. We're offended by saying that, you know, there's certain people in power of certain races and certain religions. I mean, give me a break, guys. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's like if you say Brazilian people are better at soccer, like, not all, obviously. Yeah, there's going to be some Americans and some Europeans that are way better at soccer. But overall, if you look statistically, seems like Brazilians, you know, do better normally in the World Cup over a span of time. Is that crazy to say? Like, either a stereotype is kind of true, not really, or a stereotype isn't true, and it's to be debated. You don't win a debate by saying that's racist. Like, you win a debate by saying, listen, I hear what you're saying, but check out these statistics. I could prove that, you know, England has better soccer players because if you know, measure the World Cups and you look like statistically on a whole of who's doing better in college soccer, I found that English people are actually better. And then I'll be like, gee, you know what? I'm going to take back my stance of Brazilian people are better at soccer on the whole. Now I think it's England. If you don't do it, but you're racist for thinking that Brazilians are better. How dare you say it? It's like, now you're just making me think that 20 times as much. And that goes with media too. If you can't talk about certain things, if you can't talk about gay people and you can't make fun of gay people, well, now you're making me think that the gay mafia is in charge. Now you're making me think that gay people have high power positions in a lot of places. And to be honest, in many ways, you know, gay people tend to, you know, when they get power positions, they sometimes hire their own, you know, and that's okay. Jewish people do the same. They're very intelligent, you know, not all, but they do well. They have good families. They have a good structure, and they get positions, and they tend to, you know, hire their own. Not always, but that tends to be a thing, and that's fine. I just don't like the liars who hide it and say that's anti-Semitic. I'm congratulating you. You're doing awesome. It's like you can't even give them a compliment anymore. Asians, come to America and do fantastic. I'm not anti-Asian. Is there even a word for anti-Asian? Asians get discriminated against in America because they do good in school because they work hard. Some people could say they have higher IQs on average. I don't know. I'm not Watson and Crick. I'm not like a behavioral scientist, but I think it has a lot to do with family structure. I know a lot of Asians, and many of them had overbearing parents who said, work hard, work hard, work hard, do good in school, do good in school, do good in school. And guess what? When they do that, they tend to, you guessed it, do very well in school. Is that racist to point out that they have superior family structures? Like, oh my goodness, what? And then you say that's anti-Asian. Like that, you're not convincing me otherwise. You have to give me a conversation. You get what I'm saying? And this is the type of stuff, like, it's just so annoying because I'll say some things and I'll make some jokes, or I'll point some things out, and people will accuse me of hating people or hate. I'm the least hateful person. I have Palestinian viewers. I have people in Jerusalem watch every stream. I have black, white, Hispanic, Asian. No one cares because they know I'm authentic. They know I'm not lying to them. I'm not someone who goes on a Breakfast Club and starts like whipping out hot sauce and saying I listened to Tupac in high school to sound cool. I'm authentic. You know what I'm saying? Communities and people who like hip hop music, they would identify that if they saw me on the show. Same with everybody. It's like real people from every religion and race and gender know I'm not lying. And most of them know this. It's like I can talk about the funniest stuff with my black friend or my Jewish friend, but God forbid I took that public. It's like, oh my goodness, we need to condemn Anomaly for being hilarious and not caring. No one cares. Like funny people that are honest don't care. And they could point out, hey, people with the same religion or skin color as me, some of them are up to some stuff. And you know what? Other ones aren't. And people have said this to me in person. I have, you know, Jewish conservative supporters who come up to me in public and they tell me some things. And I'm like, interesting. You know, they don't hate their own people, but they're like, hey, just like any sane person, there's some good, there's some bad. Everyone knows that. It's not a big secret. It's like I say it and all of a sudden I'm the second coming of like, you know, the most horrible person. It's common sense. My Muslim friends know that, you know, my Christian friends know that. My white friends know that. My black friends, you know, we have funny jokes that if I said publicly, it'd be like, oh my God. No, we just don't care because we don't live our lives. Like we think it's funny to make like skin color jokes, call each other light skin. It's funny. I think so. Well, in the right situation, it's like if I said that to like Sean King, they'd be like, what are you talking about, Anomaly? That's clearly an African-American male right there. How do you not see the black in him? And it's like, dude, I'm just saying his skin looks light. I don't know. You could call me whatever. You could like, it's not a big deal. Does that make sense? I'm Puerto Rican, Italian, Polish. If someone said Puerto Rican people have, like, I think Stefan Molyneux says Puerto Rican people have higher IQs, or I'm sorry, Puerto Rican people have lower IQs. It doesn't bother me. That, like, I'm not going to say shut it down. Let them have that conversation. I don't think it's necessarily true. You know, on average, I don't do the research, but there's also, you know, there's different people in each. Just because you're white doesn't mean you have a high IQ, and just because you're Asian, you might have a low IQ. Like, I don't live based on my identity. I know myself. I can self-identify with people who look like me, skin color-wise or ethnicity-wise do. It's not a big deal. People have the right to be wrong. People have the right to be right. People have the right to, like, I want Molyneux to have a debate with someone who doesn't believe in the IQ thing. It doesn't bother me. That's not my thing. I'm not the IQ guy. I don't like, but that's, people are like, we got to shut him down. It's racist. Like, who cares? It's so ridiculous. Someone could be like, yo, Puerto Ricans are disgusting. Like, it's actually funny to me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm concerned about real life things. Who's threatening somebody else? Who's starting a war? Who's, you know, subverting people via mass media? Who's feeding people terrible food and drugs? That's what actually matters. It's not like who said mean things that hurt my family feeling. Like, It's so stupid. I don't know. I've never really cared about that. Someone says, what does IQ tell us anyway? I don't know. All I'm saying is Watson and Crick. If you guys know Watson and Crick, they founded they founded the double helix, one of the most important discoveries in scientific history. The dude won a Nobel Prize for it, a scientific prize. And then he came out and said recently a bunch of racist stuff. One of the things he said that they were like, look how racist this guy is. He said that Latin people tend to have sex more because it's hotter in Latin countries. I'm like, whoa, stop the press. I can't think of a single Latin friend that I have that wouldn't absolutely love that or think it's hilarious. Like, ooh, don't dare tell Ecuadorian people that you think they have sex more because it's hotter in their country. I'm sure they're going to be furious at white man bad. They'll probably love it. They'll be like, yeah, like I have sex more because it's hot. Like, woo, like that. No one cares. Like that, that's not. And then he also said that he thinks that, Africa is not succeeding because he thinks that the overall IQ is lower. Not all, but he thinks in certain areas. That's his analysis of that. That's not my analysis. I don't agree with him, but I'm also not a scientist. I didn't study or discover the double helix. I don't think it's my place unless I spend 10 years researching this stuff, which some people do. Like your Dinesh D'Souza's will disagree with that. That's fine. Put Dinesh D'Souza and let him debate Watson and Crick. Like, you get what I'm saying? Even if they said Polish people, Italians, and Puerto Ricans have the lowest IQ on average, like, he gets to say that. He discovered the double helix. He doesn't have to be right, but that's science. It's not settled. It's not racist. It's like these terms are so fake. And so someone said, are we discussing the Mueller report? We did for a second, but I kind of like to use things to talk about things that matter more because it's like, haha, Mueller sucks. It's been 3 years of the circus. So I already talked about it. Sorry. We're getting into deeper things. It's like, I'm just not offended by stuff. They want to, and the stuff that they silence the most sometimes tends to be the most accurate. If you don't agree with flat earth, if you don't agree with the IQ debate, if you don't agree with someone's rampant anti-Semitism or anti-Israelism or anti-Judaism, if you don't agree with somebody's anti-Islam, if you don't agree with any of one of anti-gay or whatever, don't shut them down. Show people that you're better than them. I don't want to shut anybody down besides the people that are making insane threats and that like those people should be shut down. You can't make death threats and stuff. That's bad. They should investigate. That's what the police should be doing. That's what social media companies should be doing. Anybody who makes literal threats should get arrested. That to me, that's basic Americanism. It's not that hurt my, like they're shutting flat earthers down and conspiracy theorists. Meanwhile, just debate them. Make an argument that's so great that no one can deny, but they don't do that. They change their science every 2 years. They're like, you know what? We passed the Earth's atmosphere and we went to the moon and we lost the tapes. And then they're like, you know what? We didn't lose the tapes. We sold them to somebody. You know what? We actually didn't go past the Earth's atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere actually goes past the moon. It's like, that's why no one believes you, because you lie about everything. It's like some people tell me, anomaly, the moon landing's real. They just lied about the tapes. They didn't really tape it. But the landing's real. They just lied about the tapes. Do you trust somebody that, like, if someone's like, anomaly, here's an event I went to and I watched the whole thing. I'm like, dude, that was awesome. And they're like, you know what? That actually wasn't the event. That's a total recreation of the event. It actually happened totally differently, but we just made that so you can watch it. I would never trust the person ever again, but people, like, that's not normal. It's not normal to lie about wars. It's not normal to lie about food. It's not normal to lie about space. It's not normal to lie about drugs. It's not normal to lie this much, guys. It's actually hilarious how much they lie. It's legitimately funny to me. It's more impressive that they lie this much. How do you lie this much? Like, imagine going into work at CNN every day and having, like, how do they do it? It's like, to be like Chris Cuomo or Anderson Cooper or Don Lemon, it's more impressive to me than being Tucker Carlson. Like, it's a feat to go into every day, look yourself in the mirror, be like, all right, we got to lie 18,000 times again today. Like, that's classic comedy. Just tell the truth. It's a lot easier. I get it. You might get kicked out of Turning Point events. You know, you might never get invited. It's okay. Maybe you will. Maybe they'll love you. Maybe they'll book you. But it's a lot more fun to just tell the truth. Then you don't have to worry about everything. Like, you got to, like, bury a lot. They're like, listen, guys, we went, but the Earth's atmosphere extends past the moon now. Like, come on, it makes total sense. And then you read the research paper. People get mad at me. The research that they found out this year, they said that the Earth's atmosphere actually goes past the moon. It's from 20 years ago. They just dug it up and rediscovered it 20 years later. Totally, for sure. Sheesh. All right, we'll answer some questions. I hope that rant made sense to people because it's been building on my chest a lot. Because I'm not interested in people who say the same couple things all the time. That doesn't interest me. I'd rather watch somebody that I disagree with 60% of the time if I get something there that I'm learning. You get what I'm saying? That's why everyone always says to me, like, why do you like Farrakhan? It's not that I like him. Me and him have totally different agendas. I do think that Louis Farrakhan really dislikes the United States. I do think that he wants the United States to fall. And that's not my agenda. I love the United States. However, I could learn something new when I watch him and I find him interesting. Meanwhile, other people I watch, it's the same story every time. So it's like I'd rather get a gem and disagree with 80% of it than, you know, agree with all of it and learn nothing new. That's why I constantly learn. And I think it's interesting, you know, and I bring him up because I know he's very taboo. But to me, this is a Noam Chomsky, an old quote back when he was sane and not senile. Sorry, Noam. He said, free speech is for the people you disagree with. Free speech is not only for people you agree with. If you're conservative and you only want free speech for people you agree with, you're not really free speech. If you're liberal, at this point, you're obviously not free speech unless you're like, you know, one of the few progressives on YouTube who actually believe in it. It's like that's what free speech is about. Someone said AOC is great. You could have that. You could have that perspective. Like I don't care. I'll read some comments now. Point out, I'm just trying to say controversial stuff nowadays because to me that's interesting, and also to me that's what elevates us when we can understand that two people can, you know, have these conversations without being censored out of existence. And for those just joining, yeah, the Mueller hearing happened. It's a total lie. Russia's not influencing America nearly as much as these other countries, although I do think historically Russia did influence a lot. But overall, it's like they're living an opposite world. And these are the discussions that they should air on television because I guarantee people could watch this and be like, you know what? I agree with that. I don't agree with his politics, but I get what he's saying. That's my thought. Let's read some comments. All right, super chats, guys. I'm sorry to people who gave super chats. I legit can't see them anymore. They're gone. So I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. Someone said stop being mean. I'm not being mean. I hope you're being sarcastic. Let's see. Someone said AOC airhead on crack. That's pretty funny. Is there a country that reports the U.S. news correctly? I mean, probably not, but I would just read a little bit of everything, but I don't know. I don't really like traditional news. It's just so goofy. It's like they all piggyback off of each other. You know, there's no creativity in news anymore. It's like there's the story, they put it out, and then everybody piggybacks off that story. There's not a lot of interesting stuff out there. Someone said Puerto Rico has many beautiful places too. Oh, absolutely. Puerto Rico is a beautiful island. How's your foot? It's okay. Could be better, could be worse, but you know, it's all good. Someone said the Democrats obstructed my happiness. That's funny. The Democrats obstructed my happiness. Dude, they're out of control. And I think we deserve reparations for what the mass media did. They damaged the minds of millions of people. They've fractured a country beyond belief. I need reparations for this. At least $1 million per person from the Democratic Party and the mass media. How about that shirt? What about, I mean, you know, it's just a little something light for a Wednesday. Someone said they cloned Rosario Dawson before giving her to Cory Booker. You think she was cloned? Like, people, like, I don't understand people who want to shut out conspiracy theories. It starts to make people think they're more true. When you can't actually debate it and you have to shut it up, it just seems more true to me. Because I hear everything. If you can debunk a conspiracy, there's plenty of conspiracy theories I don't believe in at all. There's plenty of conspiracy theories I think there's an element of truth. But the way you convince me is by showing me something that makes more sense. You can't just say, they're crazy. And it's like, oh, man, you really told them. Like, that's what I don't want to get into. I already talked enough about that. We'll just read some comments. Liberals apply ointment to wounds. Someone said Palestine is a myth. It's laundry day. I'm reading these comments. I'm not saying these for myself. Why is it a myth? What does that mean? PC ruins everything. What about building 7? It's like, we could talk about something besides 9/11, guys. Every time I'm like, yo, ask me anything. People are like, 9/11, flat earth. It's like, guys, relax. We don't got to do this every day, but we can. Devin's on both. No, we could talk about building 7 a different day, but you know, most people. Area 52, I'm not concerned about it. It's after Area 51. All right, Tim Truth said reparations for descendants of mental slaves from the mainstream media and Democrats. That's what I'm saying. There's been mental slavery. I'm gonna butcher it because I don't have it up here, but it was Marcus Garvey, who's a very famous Jamaican black leader in America. Marcus Garvey, if you haven't heard of him, check him out. He said something along the lines of like, while we're free physically now, he said, you know, we are mentally enslaved. He's like, they try to put chains on our brain to mentally enslave us. Now that they can't physically enslave us, they want to mentally enslave us. I'm butchering it, but that's along the lines of what Marcus Garvey said. It's totally true. Marcus Garvey's right. We deserve mental reparations, and if you disagree with me, you're a racist, because Marcus Garvey said that, not me. And obviously, you don't hate Marcus Garvey. What about the JFK assassination? Too heavy for right now. I mean, I haven't looked enough into the JFK assassination. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't add up, but like how it doesn't add up or why or what's going on there, I have no idea. Do you think there's aliens in Area 51 anomaly? No, probably not. At this point, I think they probably would have moved the aliens out by now if there were aliens there. I don't know that they'd just be chilling there. Sounds fun though. Stacy Flores said, do you think the media is trying to distract us from the important issues we care about? 1,000%. 1,000%. I mean, I don't know if they're purposely doing it. I don't know if it's a mistake. Like they're just like neurotic and psychotic and just retarded, for lack of a better word. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean the dictionary definition of retarded. But, you know, overall, the media, all it does is create mass chaos. And even some right-wing media is okay, you know, but even the right-wing media, it's like, to me, when I read media, it's just like a fire and it's like, ah, 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 ah. Like, it's just like, I can't stand most media. It's awful. So it's like, it's a distraction, purposely or not, I don't know, but it's like, all they do is sell pharmacy pills and lie to people and distract people and call people bigots. And the right wing, they're so against labels until someone disagrees with them, and then they want to call them racist. I do agree, though, it is funny calling people racist as a joke when they always call you racist, but it's like too much identity politics, too many lies, too much confusion. There's no real discussions being had, very, very few. But in times of chaos, you know, there's room for opportunity. I'm trying to create that. You know, I'm trying to be that, host debates, and I'm trying to start hosting live events where we do what everyone's not doing, have real conversations about the food, the drugs, health, finances, like things that are deeper than, you know, what they talk about. It's like race, religion, gender. I like what Jesse Lee Peterson says. He always says there's no such thing as racism. And people think Jesse Lee's crazy because he says, what do you mean there's no racism? How could there be? But he says there's good and evil, and then there's right and wrong. You get what I'm saying? There is all that other stuff is like layers of lies to drag the conversation and silence. Like it's either, doesn't matter if you're Jewish, doesn't matter if you're Muslim, doesn't matter if you're Christian, doesn't matter if you're atheist, doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're Asian. Either what you're doing is right or what you're doing is wrong. It's very simple. If we thought through the eyes of that, we'd solve everything, but we don't do that. By the time you even get past the media, it's all identity politics. It's all annoying. The media is awful. Someone said, here's some kombucha funds. Thank you. Stay ching on, bro. I don't know what that means. Thank you, Fadu, though. Appreciate the kombucha money. Man, we getting them booch bucks here. Thank you. Nicole Jordan said, Anomaly, you're one of the reason I opened my eyes and left the party. I wish you stopped up at San Antonio. I work at a hotel. I'll hook you up. Good to know, Nicole. I guess hit me up on Instagram. I can't really discuss too much through YouTube and Facebook or email that much, but I mean, if I go to San Antonio, that would be nice. Please interview Candace Owens. I don't know. I don't know if she'll want me to interview. I wouldn't mind talking to her, being on her podcast, but that's on her. I can't invite myself. There is so much racism. People have to make up hate crimes. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, real racism is like genocide. Like, that's the realest racism. It's like, let's kill all of these people because I hate all the people of this race. That's awful. That's real racism. Then it's like slavery, and then it's like unequal laws. The only real racism on the books that we have here is anti a few people, and I'll give you a hint. It's not the people who claim racism the most. They do have laws that say if you're this race, you get this treatment. If you're this race, you get this treatment. Those do exist, but it's not even worth calling it racist. It's like this is unequal because it doesn't make sense because of this. It's better to debunk it without racism, but like the levels of what they say are racism is just like people don't want to have a conversation. And if you really think about it, playing the victim has a lot of benefits. If you can claim victim via something in history or something that happened recently, one way or another, if you can be a victim, now you can rig society in your favor. You can't be questioned. You can't be called out. You can't be talked about. You can't be discussed. You can't be complimented. You can't be, you can't do this. And then everything gets rigged in your favor. It's like if it's like if you say that if you critique a person of this race, you hate them. If you compliment a person of this race, you're being racist anyway because you shouldn't even have a discussion about it. It's like there's a real power in a victim card, and probably powerful people know this. You know what I'm saying? On the lower levels, it's just a bunch of sheep who are just like doing it, and it's like if you got one, use it. Why not? But overall, I think the people who really pull the strings and the people who really make the big money moves and they're highly intelligent, they know that if you can establish a certain identity, then and you can make people want to rig things in your favor, there's a huge benefit to that, and it happens many ways. Ever been to Roswell, New Mexico? No. Someone said you could do all that to me. I'm white. Yeah, I don't like, even with this school thing, honestly, it's like, who cares that they're rigging universities? Like, universities are getting worse and worse and worse. So it's like, who cares? Like, it's like, oh my God, they're rigging movies. Stop watching movies. Make your own movies. Like, you got to stop being perpetually outraged. Like, oh my God, they changed Thor into a woman. It's like, they're going to keep doing this. Just stop supporting them. Stop watching it. Start supporting people that are better and, letting them get more power, and hope that those people that get more power don't turn into the people that they once hated. Jason said, what does people of color mean now? It's a good question. I think that's the most ignorant, disgusting term, personally. I know I'm probably technically not a person of color, depending on how much tan I have, but what does that mean? Everybody has a color. Black people mostly are not black. They're usually brown. Some people are very dark. Most aren't. Most white people are not white. Very few white people are albino, where you look at them and you're like, whoa, they're legitimately white. They're the same color as my wall. It's very rare. Most people are like pink or tan. So it's like these colors are, first of all, awful classifications. I get it. Like it's like what a child would do. It's like that person's whiter, that person's blacker. But like person of color, everybody's a color. Nobody's transparent. You're like, oh, you're like, you're not talking to me. I'm actually transparent. I have no color. You see right through me. I don't even exist, really. I'm just a opaque, plant. It's not a real thing. And then also, it's a demeaning term. It's like, as a person of color myself, it's so cringe. And it's cringier when like Marianne Williamson or something does it. As a white woman, I am so sorry for the people of colors it's like, just stop already. It's so obnoxious. It's one of the most weirdest terms, in my personal opinion. There's only one race I hate, and that is one I have to run. That was funny. I like that. Someone said, I have no soul. I'm sorry to hear that. Yikes. Someone said, all right, we'll answer a few questions now. I'm going to roll out. So I'm transparent. I hate you all. Okay, interesting. By Pepe by Proxy. Jeff said, I'm seriously cracking up here. Good. I'm glad we can have fun today. Someone said person of crayons. I'm doing a spoken word thing as a joke soon. I don't want to ruin it, but I have a pretty funny thing I want to do. Someone said I'm French and Italian, almond skin color. My parents are from, yeah. Like ethnicity makes sense to me. And honestly, I don't care. I'm different from other people. I don't care if people are proud of their culture. I don't care if you're European and you're proud. I don't care if you're Mexican and you're proud. I don't care if you're white and you're proud, or African and you're proud, or black. Like, I legitimately don't care. If you're Jewish and you're proud, that's fine. Just be honest about it. Don't lie about it. Like, don't be like, no, I'm not. If you are, just be it. I understand it's not easy to be because then people call you a supremacist, but like, who cares? Me personally, I never clung on to my identity. It was never something I did. I never thought that much about being Puerto Rican or Italian or Polish or white, or like, it never really cared at all. So it doesn't bother me though when people do. Like when people go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade, I don't think like, oh, that's not me. I don't want to do that. It's like, who cares? I think the world would be a lot better if some people were like, hey, I'm very proud of my people. And some people are like, I'm not really proud. Some people are like, I hate myself. And then some people are like, I think I'm the best. It's like, who cares? I don't agree with supremacy. I don't think white supremacy or black supremacy or Jewish supremacy or Muslim supremacy or Christian supremacy, I don't particularly think it's healthy. I don't think it's a good idea, but it doesn't really bother me that much. Like I said, unless people want to legitimately genocide everyone else, then it becomes a problem. But who cares? Like, there's always that kid who has too big of an ego, like they're like, I'm the best, and they're not really the best. If you're the best, you're the best. If you're not the best, you're not the best. Like, who cares? If a group thinks they're the best and they're not the best, does it really matter? Like, I never followed the kid around who's like, I'm the best at baseball. I'm the best. I'm the smartest. And they were getting like Fs and they were really dumb and they were awful at baseball. Like, it's not my job to tell that person that they're horrible. Like, let them figure it out. Life will teach them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not God. I don't need to teach people a lesson about being humble. Life will teach you, like, it's not, who cares? I'm so tired of, even in politics, I'm so tired of pretending like, even the right wing, we must condemn. They can't go to the White House. I condemn that racist. That's one of our racists. Just stop, shut up already. It's so cringe worthy. I'm tired of pretending like I care, but spoiler alert, I don't pretend like I care. So I either just keep quiet or tell the truth. It's just like, I'm not like, who cares? It's so annoying. Like, I like going to comedy shows where they make fun of everybody, and some things are really messed up, and they're so messed up, and sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that. It's kind of true though. And then other times you're like, that's really awful, and it's not funny, and it's not even true. But then that comic learns the hard way, because the joke wasn't funny, it's not true, and now people think he's a weirdo. Like, that's life. That's you learn. And then he's like, you know what? I won't do that joke again. It wasn't really funny. And then sometimes it's not true. It's a total exaggeration and a lie, but it's a really funny. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the world I want to live in. It's like, man, that was really true, but messed up. Man, that was really messed up, but it wasn't true, but it was funny. Man, that was messed up. It wasn't true, but it wasn't funny. Like, who cares? No one cares. No one used to care at comedy shows. Now you have, oh my God, you made fun of me. Like, shut up. Go home. That's what the whole country should be like. Stop crying. It was never like this. No one cared 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Look at their old tweet from 2009. Yeah, that's because no one cared in 2009. We weren't a bunch of losers. No one cared. Opinions don't matter. The truth matters. Lies matter, and you can determine what it is, and you can show people the light. Why do you think Trump is saying exactly what you want to hear? Common sense. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to be like a contrarian, but I don't always agree with Trump. Sometimes I look at his tweets and I'm just like, nah. Very rarely, though. I have to be honest. Like 90% of his tweets are just super at fire, in my opinion. But he's so strong because he's funny, which is a good trait. He's simple. He doesn't make it that complicated to understand. It's like these pseudo-intellectuals. They're like, I went to Harvard, so the soliloquy of the intellectual perplexity of what I'm saying is very diverse. It's like, shut up. Like, you're saying big words. It's like a rapper, lyrical, spiritual, miracle, serial, lyrical, spiritual, miracle, serial. The whole world is imperial. You're like, dude, you're not saying anything. You're just using 3-syllable words. You're not actually saying anything. You know what I'm saying? Trump keeps it simple, but he says a lot by not saying that much. And everyone understands it. It's like, lyrical, circle, miracle, spiritual. I've been doing it for the spiritual. It's like, dude, they've said that 1,000 times on a record. That's not hard to do. But, you know, Trump keeps it simple, but also he said something today. I think he said the truth is powerful or something like that. I don't know if it's exact truth. That's true. And the truth, Trump doesn't own the truth. I don't own the truth. No one owns the truth. But Trump is right. I get my power through truth. Trump gets his power through truth. When Trump doesn't tell the truth, he will lose a little bit of power. He will lose a little bit of support. You know, that's what's building. Some people don't care about it. Others do. But truth stands the test of time. And this is a very strange time where, like, you see it starting to have a lot of power. Not everything he says is totally right or true. I'm not saying he owns the truth, but he is right in the sense of the truth will cut through lies very quickly. And lies won't last forever. And lies don't bring peace. Lies make you, like, how do you live when you lie 20 times a day? It must be exhausting. Like, I'm not trying to bring up NASA, but it's like, imagine having to lie that much. It's ridiculous. But anyway. Yeah, try. And even if you dislike Trump, my pitch is, on Trump's worst day, he's 30 times better than anything I've ever seen in politics. On his worst day, he's the best thing I've ever seen in politics. And I've never been traditionally right-wing. I'm not a liar. I'm not a follower. I'm not trying to be popular. I'm not going to lie on Trump's behalf when he's not doing something right. I don't care. He's better than everyone by a long shot. Even if you don't like him, you have to acknowledge why he's doing well. He's hilarious and he's more authentic and relatable than anyone else, even if you hate him. That's what he's doing. And the Democrats suck. Look at Mueller. Look at Schiff. Look at Pelosi. Look at Schumer. These people shuck, which is suck with a Schumer on it. You get it? And a Schiff. These people shuck. It's off. Like, that's what. Do you really not know why Trump's doing well? Do we have to play this game for? But Mueller's going to get him one day. No, he's not. The Democrats suck. The Republicans suck. Trump doesn't suck as much. He's actually hilarious if you embrace him. He's awesome. But if you don't like him, just think that he sucks less. I have Democrat friends hitting me up that are like, man, today sucked. I was like, once you figure out that they're trying to take away the First Amendment, they're trying to take away the Second Amendment, they're trying to take away right to a fair trial, they're trying to pervert pretty much everything, put the health industry into the hands of the government, make it so you can't have a private doctor or opt out of health insurance, it's not cool. Nothing they do is cool. So it's like, take these lies and use that as a door. And then you could figure out everything else not cool that the Democrats are doing, which is almost everything. Republicans do not cool stuff pretty often, sometimes not. They're getting better thanks to Trump. But the Democrats can't do anything for me. They're like a crack dealer that's selling crack mixed with like poison. Like, there's nothing for me at your kiosk. There's nothing for me. Occasionally there's good critiques that they have, but I could get it somewhere else. I don't need to get it from there's nothing the left wing can do for me. The right wing can do a little for me because they actually can do stuff. But overall, I think most Republicans can't do that much. It's okay. You guys understand. And for people, just for the record while I'm here, if people think, like, I say stuff about like the ADL and a lot of conservatives get mad at me, like, you know, on Twitter and stuff, like, oh my God, I get more heat, honestly, from anti-Zionists. I get more hate from people who hate Israel because they don't think I'm not anti-Zionist enough. They're like, why do you like Trump so much? Like, people who don't like Israel and are anti-Zionist, almost all of them don't like Trump. There's very few people who hate Israel. They think Trump's a total sellout puppet. I get more heat from them. I don't care. I'll take it from both sides, but it's like, they want me to hate Trump. I just don't. I'm not a Zionist. I'm not selling out for Israel. I clearly just called out, you know, multiple factions earlier in this podcast. I watch sides of everything. I'm the only one who does that. I just don't hate Trump. I'm sorry. Like, there's nothing you could say to me to make me hate Trump. I think he's awesome. I think on his worst day of selling out, he's still 1,000 times better than everything else. I'm sorry, that's progress. He's hilarious. He made his allies. He takes some money. He has a certain agenda. But overall, I like the guy, and I'm not apologizing for it. And I'm not going to change my mind. I've seen it all. I watch all the anti-Zionist stuff. I watch all the anti-Israel stuff. I still like Trump. I'm sorry. Like, that's just where I'm at. And honestly, you know, I hope that Israel and Palestine can establish a peace deal, you know, of some sort. That would be awesome, where they're both happy. But that would involve, you know, some compromise and some discussion and some free speech. So, you know, that's what I think. But I legit actually really like Trump. I just wanted to say that because people think I only like, they're like, you're selling out. You're like this person. You do that. No, I'm myself. And it is what it is. It's helpful. Thoughts on term limits? Probably should be some. Someone said Trump is not a sellout. Listen, everyone could think there's people I watch that think he's a total sellout. There's people I watch that think he's a total not sellout. I like listening to both sides because I learn a lot. I listen to the people who don't like Trump, and they'll bring up interesting things that Trump's doing, that Ted Cruz is doing, that Ron DeSantis is doing. And then I could be like, you know what? And then I'll weigh it against what conservatives are saying. And then it's either not true or it is true, and conservatives aren't talking about it. So there's value in a lot of people. You get what I'm saying? I don't agree with anybody 100% that I know of, but there's value in a lot of places. So it's like, you know, there's people, like, I'll listen to both sides, and then it's like, all right, well, I personally think that Trump has a certain, you know, agenda and certain allies, and he gets certain money. But I don't think, like, if you look at Bush and you look at Obama and you look at Clinton and you look at everybody and then you look at Trump, I think even if you think Trump is a puppet, even if you're totally anti-Trump, he's by far the least owned person I've ever seen in my life. Like, you could say he's not, but I mean, I think he's like this much more free. Like, Obama did nothing. Obama would never call out the media. Obama would never do it. Like, Obama would never stop a war in Syria and take billions of dollars of funding out of funding rebels. Obama would never do that. Bush would never do that. Trump, he might not do everything you want him to do in regards to the Middle East, but he's damn sure the freest person I've ever seen, ever. Someone said write a book. I'm trying, but I have ADD. So I thought I wrote a book, and I was like, this is awesome. And it turned out to be like 14 pages. I was like, this sucks. But if I wrote a book, it probably would have nothing to do with politics. It would be about mindset and philosophy. I'm more interested in that. People think I like politics. I legitimately can't stand politics. I just think it's funny. And I'm more concerned than politics. Media controls the minds of the masses. Media can make the good look innocent, the innocent look good. They can tell you what to think about. They can control how billions of people act that day, what they talk about, who they talk about it with. So I'm more focused on keeping the media honest, being a more honest media, and then, you know, everything else will shift around that. Ask Obama fan, name 5 things he did for the USA. Most Obama supporters have no idea what he did. I'm not saying that to be mean. They've done a lot of street interviews and stuff. Some people that are like really, you know, into politics can probably point out 5 things that Obama did that are good. But most people are fair weather fans. And that's something people have to understand a lot too. It's like, when you're getting a vote, your vote isn't going to be from a well-researched scholar. Most people only know a few stuff, and that's fine. But, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, everybody researches all this. Most people who voted for Obama had no idea what he's doing. You know, they don't know anything about Libya or Syria or taxes. You know, like it's like not a thing that a lot of people understand. I didn't understand until I was like 26. When I liked Bernie Sanders, if I would have understand taxes and economics and government, I would have probably not liked him. I didn't understand any of that. I didn't understand economics. I wasn't a real financial guy. You know, I never learned that in school. I didn't learn that through my parents, really. Like, they taught some stuff, helpful stuff, absolutely. But as far as like taxes and like, you know, my parents aren't really political, you know, so they're the type that it's just like, they're not annoying, honestly. It's like, they don't make excuses. They don't cry. It's like whoever wins, they just do their work and have fun. They don't they don't live in this like victim world, but I didn't know any of that stuff, and a lot of people don't, especially a lot of young people. How do you know about that? They don't teach in school, really. Run for rapper politician like Bulworth. I'm working on some music, guys. I'm going to do a whole album soon, and I actually do mean soon. I got one song done. I'm writing another with my buddy Trevor Wesley. We got some good music. It's going to be very positive music and like a good vibe, a vibe for everybody. It's not going to be political. Doesn't matter your religion, your race, your gender, your country. It's going to be real people music. What do you think of the Anunnaki? Interesting people. I've gone down that rabbit hole before. There's a lot of very interesting stuff about, well, the Anunnakis are supposed to be what, the aliens from that planet. Like, people think there's an extra planet. Was it the Sumerians? Correct me. I think Sumerians in their artwork showed another planet, and they talked about the Anunnaki a lot. I'm open-minded. You know, I don't know what to believe. There's a lot of interesting stuff with ancient artwork and history, and you know, the Anunnakis and the Sumerian cultures is interesting, but I don't get too involved in that stuff, because like, either it's true and it's like, what do I do about it? There's aliens or Anunnakis, or it's not true and it's like, I just wasted 5 years crying about Anunnakis. You know, it's not gonna really. There's so much lies out there that it's just like, and there's so many theories out there. I don't really get too caught up in any. That's why when I discuss them, I hate to be like, I discuss certain things. People know I'm not. I have people in every country, you know, every continent paying attention, because they know I'm not hateful. They know I legitimately care about them, and they know the stuff I say is a lot of times stuff that no one's saying. That's actually going to in turn help their people. You know, it's like the taboo thing no one wants to talk about, but it's like, at the end of the day, when I say certain stuff, I hate to be shut down or called crazy or conspiracy theorist, you know, because then it's like, all right, you get it. Someone said Bolton is the warmonger. Absolutely. There's reports. You got even the people that hate Trump. I know I'm getting a lot of people who think I don't want to say they think I'm a Zionist shill. I think they clearly know I'm not. There's no Zionist shills that talk about Zionism like I do, but like, people that watch me who hate Trump, you have to admit, he calls out Bolton all the time. You don't have to like Trump. You could think he's a puppet, but dude, Trump is hilarious. He called Bolton. He said, he's like, is Ireland one of those countries you want to bomb? Apparently. And he also said, what country don't you want to bomb? He just keeps clowning on Bolton. He knows he's a warmonger, and he's not buying into it. Trump is awesome. I'm sorry. You could disagree with him on some things, but you know, embrace the Trumpism a little bit. But you don't have to, honestly. I don't care, but I think he's awesome. Don't think I'm not a sellout. I'm not a shill on either side. Everybody thinks I'm like extreme one way. I'm just calling it how I see it, and I like Trump. That's why I made the song. I like Trump. Someone said Trump isn't a puppet. Some people said Trump knows Bolton's a warmonger. President Trump I mean, he's a human, but I'm blown away. I always say, I've said this a bunch, but I had no expectations when Trump came into office. Like, I was like, I hope he does good, but if he does bad, I won't be surprised. He's already surpassed every expectation I've already had. Like, did he not get some things done? Absolutely. Did he drop the ball in certain places? Debatable, you know, but overall, he already did 20, like, it's not normal for a president to act like Trump. That's not normal. Media is probably my most important thing. The main thing I liked in Bernie Sanders is that the media hated him and his support base was going against the media. Bernie himself wasn't. I thought it was weird, and now I realize why. Bernie's a total loser. His support base goes against the media, but he leaves his support base out to dry and says, if you disagree with the media, you're a racist. He thinks people who hate the media are Russians. Like, he's such a loser. But you know, that's what I like. The media is so important to me. Trump breaking the media matrix, that's a move. Like, that's very important. You know, everybody knows the media is lying at this point. Most people. If you're on my channel, it's obvious. That's very important for him to call them the fake news media. That's very important for him to expose them. You shine a light on somebody, and they show you who they are. Trump put a light on the media. They said, you're fake news. He turned the mirror and he said, no, you're fake news. And then the light's shown, and they're exposing themselves. Since then, they've done 30 fake stories. They've melted into communist, socialist a hellhole. They can't tell the truth for their lives. They're so embarrassing. They're literally out of their minds. Like, you could thank President Trump later. Like the Drake album, Thank Me Later. You don't have to like Trump now, but thank him later. You know, you could thank him in a few years when it all pans out. Yeah, you know, that's an important step. It's all about progress. Like, if you think Trump, like some people say, there's right-wing people and there's left-wing people who don't like Trump, who say Trump is no different from Obama or John McCain. That, to me, that's the biggest lie on the planet. You could not like Trump. You could think he's a sellout in some ways. That's your prerogative. He's obviously way better than John McCain and Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. I hear left-wingers say that, and I'm like, that's not true. I hear right-wingers say that, that's not true. You could dislike him. You could think he's a sellout, but to think he's no different from Obama or McCain, that's bananas. He's clearly, in my perspective, way different. When are the debates? I'll watch them. I don't know when they are. Trump's last speech was to teenagers. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm probably banned. Maybe I'll try to go next year to the Turning Point event. I'll go network there. All my friends went. I have a lot of right-wing friends. Just turns out that way. My buddy Fleckus, shout out Fleckus, shout out DC Drano. We're gonna get my shout outs. Shout out Mike Lusso, everybody from Scriber, you know, Jorge, the whole squad. Shout out Will Witt. I don't know if he's there, but shout out Will Witt. Who else is in DC? You know, shout out Anna Paulina. Shout out all my conservative buddies. But I'll try to go next year, but I'll probably get banned because I talk about foreign influence. I'll get there. They'll be like, you can't go. You said that the ADL censoring people. No, just playing. Someone said I'm in DC. Who else should I shout out? Someone said the people you just listed are truly ridiculous. What do you mean? Shout out Tucker Carlson? Yeah, I mean, you can get a shout out. These nuts said I just lost brain cells watching this clown. That's so unfortunate. I don't know when you tuned in, but there's a lot of gems being dropped here. It's okay. We'll get there someday. Didn't forget to like, I want all my rights intact. Anomaly, are you an Aquarius? No, I'm a Libra. Would you knock the little jockeys off rich people's lawns? One, I don't know what that means. Are you talking about like the little lawn gnomes? No, I don't think it's. I wouldn't hit anything off anybody's lawn. You know, I don't care if they're rich or poor. And money. Here's the thing. I know a billionaire who's one of the coolest people I know. He's extremely cool. He's extremely pro-health. He calls out Monsanto. He calls out the food industry. He wears, you know, modest clothes. Just because you're a billionaire, there's some billionaires who kill millions of people, and they're awful. Not every billionaire is a bad person. I know billionaires who are awesome, and I really like them. And, you know, they like me. Maybe not anymore now that I do politics. They probably hate me now. But overall, I'm just going to kick a lawn gnome off someone's lawn because they're rich or poor. I'm not going to assault any. It's ridiculous. Have a conversation. If you disagree with a rich person, have a conversation. Don't kick things off their lawn. It's childish. Maybe you're joking, but either way. Oh, someone said knock the jockeys off as a Frank Zappa lyric. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I don't listen to Frank Zappa, but maybe you're implying that I look like Frank Zappa. People say that when I have my hair or whatever it's called, my facial hair. What's up, Brandon? I will answer a few more, then I'll roll out. I got some energy today, so. Tommy said, anomaly, please never change. I don't foresee it. I don't, you know, you never know, but are you talking, I don't know. Someone said he's trolling you with a Zappa lyric. Well done. You trolled me into talking about lawn gnomes. Strong play, strong play. It's all good, guys. I'm not paying attention to the trolls. Sometimes trolls are funny, guys. Don't get mad at people when they get mad at me. It can be funny if they say something like, I'm here for everyone. So like sometimes people are like, no, they say stuff, and then I'm like, ask a question. They can't even ask a question. It's like, it's okay if people don't like it. I think it's funny. Favorite food? I don't know, but I'm hungry now. Good energy. Thank you, Brian. Change your socks, bro. Change only your socks. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that another Frank Zappa lyric? Do you like spaghetti? I'm Italian, so I do like spaghetti, but at the end of the day, I haven't eaten pasta, I don't think, at all this year. I'm trying to stay away from just like pasta and like carbs and bread, and I'm not eating too much. All right, one more question and we're gonna roll out. One more. All right, I'll answer that one. That's a good one. Someone said, are you working on a song with John Ward? I am. John's going to send me a song today or hopefully this week, and we're going to do an Anomaly John Ward collab. If you don't know who that is, he makes a YouTube channel. I only saw him for the first time like a couple weeks ago, and his song was like a Kim Jong-un parody. It was hilarious and awesome at the same time. It was super funny, but also so well done. I was like, this guy's awesome. So I hit him up, and I think he was following me, or maybe he wasn't. I don't know. Either way, I reached out, and John Ward, we're doing a collab song. It should be hilarious. So got a project on the way with him. I'm doing a little album of good energy music. People keep saying ignore the trolls. I don't even see the trolls. Just the one guy who said he doesn't like my live stream. It doesn't matter, guys. It's not a big deal. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for joining. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America, and God bless the world. Thank you, Don Caruso. I see you. Yeah, I already talked about Mueller. When I end this, it's going to go off. I just want to remind you guys, if you don't do anything, sign up to my free email list. He's just calling me idiot. It's not a big deal, guys. Sign up to my free email list, and yeah, it's 100% free. Do that. And also, if you'd like to support, that's cool. If not, it's all good. I'm getting a lot of hospital bills. It's okay. I'm not going to pretend like I'm broke and cry about it, but I keep getting hospital bills. It's end up going to be like, people are asking about my foot. It's going to be like $3,000. I thought it was only going to be $600, but it's okay. I can pay it. But I'm just like, man, and my last, I think my last 10 out of 11 YouTube videos got demonetized, but I don't even care. It's not going to get me down. It could always be worse. I just don't want them to delete my channel. But thank you to people supporting. Thank you to people signing up to the free email list. And if you want to, 2 ways, like I said, to support free, keep watching the videos, share the videos. And some of my videos have ads on them on Facebook. That's where I make a majority of my money, because YouTube demonetizes like my whole channel besides the super chats. But share the videos. If you like any videos on World Cloud or the Anomaly page, just share them and watch them. And that's support enough, because I do get ad revenue from that. So that's how you could support as well for free. Because some people say, I don't, it's optional. People are like, I don't have money. Now you make me feel terrible. Now I'm like, go buy yourself some need. I don't need it. I'm fine. I'm just saying those are how you can support. And I have crypto. To the cryptocurrency fans out now, I'm just kidding. To the crypto kids. All right, see you guys. Appreciate you being here. I appreciate you as always. I'll be back tomorrow or the next day. And for those asking about my foot, it's okay. I could walk a little bit, but I still can't fully walk, and my toe's not moving. It should be 2 more weeks since I fractured a bone as well, but I'm going to probably go to another doctor next week if it doesn't. It is improving, but I have a feeling that something's wrong with my pinky toe because it's not moving. They said it's fine and that's normal, but I don't think so. So I'm going to go next week, and hopefully I'm back to full strength soon. That has been slowing me down a lot on the videos, but it's okay. I'm getting over it. It's getting better and better every day, so it should be fine. All right, thank you guys. I'll be back later.